welcome to Girl Talk. Lucky us and lucky you, we're filming at America's Best Flowers today. What a good gig we have here.
We do.
I know, it's a tough life, isn't it, girls?
It's
really tough.
It's really tough.
It's beautiful here. We get birds, we get butterflies, we even have kitties running around.
Yeah.
I know. I think we saw Sally. Is that her name? Is that what they
Yes,
said?
yes. And by the way, this is
Beautiful
Ellen
cat.
speaking. If you can't see her, you know, the dress
She
is
does
really
blending in.
blending right in with all the flowers here.
That was a good wardrobe.
I know. I was like, this is the perfect day to wear this dress.
It really is.
Yep.
We're going to speak with Spike. He is the head dude over at the Edgerton,
Yep, Edgerton,
America's
yeah.
Best Flowers. He knows so much. And you know, when you get your hanging baskets and your containers at the beginning of the season, they look so great. And the trick is keeping them looking great. And
Yeah.
he has all the tips to help us do that.
Unfortunately, he's going to need new business cards since he's head dude now.
Yeah.
Head flower dude.
Title, head flower dude.
It's very official.
I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
Yes,
Seems like
well.
he'd like that. Is he going to talk a little bit about herbs, or were we just talking about that a little before? Because you're excited about something that's happening.
Well, I think he's going to talk about maintaining all of your plants, but I'm super excited because I'm moving to a new place where I actually have a little porch coming off of my apartment, and I can finally have containers. And I've been, you know, obviously we've been here quite a few times now, and I've been eyeing up, they have these cute little herb pots where you can grow your own little herb garden to have. And I'm finally going to have enough sunshine to do it. And they've also got a little square outside in the garden that you can actually rent in the city.
Oh, yeah.
Becoming a bigger and bigger trend, and don't worry if you don't have a garden, because you can actually do herbs inside too.
Yep,
and
I'm
in
going to do
your
my herbs
kitchen.
inside, but hopefully I'm going to get a garden plot too.
Ellen's getting domestic.
Yep. No,
Great
it's
thumb.
fun. I've got some peppermint growing and some what else? Cilantro and things like that. So it's you just go outside. My kids like to go and pick it and bring it in, and then what are we gonna cook with this, Mom?
Well, how
so it
healthy,
inspires.
and
Yeah.
get your kids involved. And
It's a really good point, because
Yeah.
gardening is great for children, and what we're going to talk about as well in this episode is Montessori school. That's one of the things that I love most about Montessori schools. They do grow their own little gardens.
Oh,
they
really?
teach them because
Yeah.
it's really good for development to be able to plant that seed, watch the growth.
well, and taking care of something, I would
Absolutely.
think.
And know where your food comes from. I mean, unfortunately, fortunately for us, we get to go to the grocery store, and finding food is quite easy for us in our culture for the most part. But that's not always the case. So it's good to have that knowledge for children to know where exactly your food comes from. You grow it.
We're also going to learn about the Montessori method. That's one of the things, but we're going to learn the bigger picture. So if you've ever been curious about what Montessori is, we'll tell you about that later in the show.
We're also meeting with Zenith Hospitality Group. What are we talking about with them, do you think?
Girls' night.
Excited.
Girls' night? How
Jazz
appropriate
Stick
is
around
that?
for that. That's-
We'll be back right after the break talking about Girls' Night Out.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. We're here today at America's Best Flowers, and it is just lovely.
It is.
We love coming here. It's
Glorious,
so much fun.
right?
It is. It is. It's glorious. We're here today with Eric, and he's with Zenith Hospitality Group, and he's the events coordinator. And I'm super excited to have you here because we're talking Girls' Night.
One of our favorite topics. Yes.
How can you guys help us out if we're trying to plan a girls' night?
Yeah, I think that's always a part of it, right? Is the planning aspect.
Yeah.
And Zenith Hospitality Group is all about experience the height of luxury. And with that being said, a girls' night could be simple, like, hey, I want to find a limo to take the girls out on the town, or hey, actually a girls' night, let's make it a girls' weekend, and actually let's take an all-inclusive trip to an all-inclusive resort out of the country.
I like the sound of
Right?
that. Sounds fun.
Or it might be just like, hey, I want to plan actually a really special event with all the ladies. How do I go about doing that? And Zenith Hospitality Group helps and takes care of a little bit or everything that
Right.
you may need.
Perfect.
You guys have
Wow.
limo, private jets, travel services, and you guys can plan vacations. I know that's what you specialize in, and events. It's kind of like you guys cover everything.
A little bit of
Everything
everything.
fun. That all sounds great.
Yeah.
So
Well,
job.
yeah, all depends on the fun aspect, right? So the fun is always the end result, or it's like it's finally here. The planning is always the part of it too. It depends upon what it is, right?
True.
Well, these ladies know I love to plan events. I've planned little ones, big ones for years. That's been one of my, kind of side pleasures of my life is to throw parties and to take people out and show them a good time. So the first limo I ever rented for a group was actually for my 8th grade graduation. Me and a group of girls got into the
You're
girls.
so fancy.
Well,
Nice
it's
girl.
fun though, right? I mean,
Oh,
so
it
I
is.
totally dig what you do. I think it's amazing because you step into a limo and all of a sudden you feel like a star, you know?
do.
So if you can bring that to your friends, especially in Devisa Girls Night, that's just really special. So thank you for allowing that for our community. So tell
Yeah.
us, like, if I had a group of maybe like an intimate 3 or like a everybody, 20 people, what do you have different sizes? Like, fill us in on the details.
Yeah, we have, even if it's just like you and a friend that I want just a personal chauffeur, we have a nice Lexus that we can just kind of drive you around in.
Lexus.
Yes.
Lexus. Okay.
Exactly.
Yep.
Or it's like, hey, we have a limo for about 4 to 6 people. We have ones that can go up to from 8 to 10 and even up to about 12, 13 people in our excursion. In our bigger.
And then are they like, do you time them out, or is it distance, or how do people arrange it in
Yeah.
their head as far as like planning?
Exactly. So they can always contact us and we can help them out. But sometimes most of them have an idea of like when they'd like to be picked up and kind of an idea of when they're going to come back. And it's all based upon how many hours that they would like to have the limo. And the longer they have it, there's actually a little bit more of a discount too. So
Sure. More for your money, the more you
Exactly.
get in, right?
There's
okay,
an
great.
incentive for
Thank
having a long party. I like that.
yes, exactly.
Done and done.
If I have to. If I have
Right. Twist my arm.
Right.
I want to talk a little bit, if you want to plan a girls' night, you are actually offering kind of a special deal for people tuning in. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. So anybody tuning in here, I'm assuming maybe our phone number is listed somewhere on
Yes,
the bottom
we
here,
gotcha.
right? So here's kind of the deal we're doing for anybody tuning in. So the first person to essentially who's watching this, give me a call, all right? And they have to talk to me, so it's not like leaving a voice message. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take essentially a 6-hour limo ride or whatever between now and the end of the year, and we're gonna charge you half off. So basically, we're only
Wow.
gonna charge you 3 hours. All right, does not include tax or gratuity for the driver, but basically we're gonna give you 3 hours of free limo ride.
Wow.
Along with that.
So can
Can we
call you?
call?
Can we call? Yeah,
I'll call you like right after you
Unfortunately.
leave today.
Girl Talk hosts, I think, is
Darn
the,
it.
yeah,
But-
the disclaimer.
Yeah.
Right,
For those
exactly.
of you out
Don't
there, I
have
mean,
listed, but
if you have a party coming up, an event already, this
Or
is
you
a
just want to
huge
go do
deal.
something fun.
Yeah. Maybe this inspires an event saying,
Oh
oh my
my
gosh, I
gosh,
could get
yeah.
a limo for 6 hours for the price of 3.
Yes, give me a call. Ask for Eric, and we'll hook you up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Gotta
And I
talk to him
wanted to touch
personally.
a little too, maybe a little bit aside from girls' night, but maybe not, depending on the kind of party you're planning. But you actually offer services like if you wanted to have cars parked and things like that. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we do a little bit on the event side of things from if you want to help planning your event or even a wedding. If it's a partial service, like, hey, we just need a little bit of help finding vendors, or hey, we need help from start to finish, whatever the case may be. And sometimes there have been places that's like, hey, you know what? I've seen this a little bit, but how could we add a valet service?
Yeah.
Again, just
Nice.
a little extra touch, just like riding in a limo. That Zenith Hospitality Group takes care of. So whatever you may need, any little extra help, we can help you out.
That's
Lovely.
wonderful. Details, right? Taking care of all of
Exactly.
them.
All in the
Very
details.
Nice.
Give Zenith Hospitality Group a call. Give Eric a call specifically, and he will hook you up. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll be
Appreciate
back
it.
with more Girl Talk right after this.
Hello and welcome back to Girl Talk. We are having a fabulous time here, surrounded by flowers, glorious birds chirping, sunshine, the
Doesn't
works.
get better than this.
No, it's pretty relaxing. It's pretty nice. It's a great place to have a show. So
It is.
We'll talk to them shortly, but first, I'm so excited and pleased and honored to introduce our next guest. This is Miss Erin Rizika Tronson. She is the head of school at Woodland Montessori and also my beloved sister. So thank you for being here today.
I love that.
So pleased to have her join us. I have so many questions. Myself and my children have come through Woodland Montessori, so I could speak highly of it, but I'll let the lady to my left here tell you all about it. But firstly, I just want you to give us, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Just give us a summary of the philosophy behind Montessori and how is it different from traditional education?
Okay, great question.
Big question.
Big question too. You know, I'm going to start with just kind of going, like knocking off the tenets. So it's a child-led philosophy and a child-centered philosophy where a traditional classroom is more teacher-centered and teacher-led. So even like when you think of a traditional classroom with rows of desks, you know, facing the teacher, in a Montessori setting, there will be children kind of leading the experience and acting on the environment, and the teachers are more like guides, and they kind of recede into the background, and they challenge the child and kind of stretch their knowledge and try to bring them to that next material or that next lesson that's going to engage them. But they're really looking to the child to lead the experience. So I think that's the main thing. There are other things to it, like, mixed age classrooms and natural environments and deep respect for the child and trusting the child. Lots of independence, so you'll see them doing like cooking and cleaning up after themselves and washing the windows and watering the plants, and so like this real empowerment and like a huge support of their independence and all that they can do. So I think that's
wonderful.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. And I feel like Montessori schools are kind of growing in popularity,
Yes.
and more people are learning about them.
Yes.
But what makes Woodland, the school that you lead at, so special?
Oh, Woodland's so special.
It really is.
It's been there since the 70s. It's not, it's special because it's Montessori, but it's also special because it's just a loved place in Madison. It has teachers that teach there that actually went there as children themselves.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I know, it's so sweet. And it has teachers that have been working there for decades. I mean, I'll have worked there for 20 years next month.
Congratulations.
Yeah, actually in August. And I'm not the one that's been there the longest. So it just has this incredible staff longevity. But also we have some special focuses. In addition to being a Montessori school, we focus on environmental stewardship and like diversity and equity issues, and then working with children with special needs. So we are at this point in our kind of growth as an organization that we really want to give back to the community, and so we do it by really focusing on those three things, in addition to being a Montessori school. So I think that's what makes us special, just the kind of longevity that we have in the community. We have parents that went there as children and now are sending their children there, and I don't know, it's just a really sweet little community.
That's so cool.
So not only does Woodland have that longevity, but Montessori itself has
Yes.
been successful for over 100 years.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's not really anything new. And I do love the idea of creating these independent thinkers. That's super exciting.
Yeah.
So if this is maybe new for some viewers and they're interested, how do they get their child into
Sure.
a Montessori school?
Yeah, I'd say a couple things just off the bat. First of all, you're going to want to make sure, like you alluded to, Montessori is kind of exploding again. It kind of goes in and out of popularity, and it's exploding again because it's the kind of minds that the world wants right now, right? It's like people that can think, innovatively and see 7 different solutions to the same like question. So, so you want to make sure it's an authentic Montessori school, and to do that, it needs to be either AMS, AMI, or MACT accredited. So I'm just going to start there.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, because they make sure we have been credentialed as teachers, and I hold a Montessori credential. Sorry, I keep tapping my speaker. I hold a Montessori credential, and I also have a master's degree, and honestly, they are similar amounts of work. So it's important to make sure that the teachers have actually been credentialed. But then make sure your school has doesn't have a waiting list. Like our school has a pretty long waiting list, and Montessori schools tend to have a waiting list. So.
Also good to know.
Yes, there is so much more to know about Montessori and Woodland. If you're interested, they have a beautiful website, Facebook page, or you can always just call the school as well. Miss Erin Rosika Tronson, my sister, so proud of you. Thank you for being with us today.
My pleasure.
Join us for more after the break for more Girl Talk.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. As you know, we have been filming today at America's Best Flowers, and I think we're having America's Best Day.
We are
do you guys
having
think?
America's Best Day.
I think we are too. I had to get a little cheesy there. And with us now, a new face today, but you may know him. He's kind of famous in the Edgerton area from what I hear. This is Dennis, but most people probably know you as Spike.
Yep.
And you're the manager of the Edgerton location.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Excited to have your knowledge here with us today. And now that July is upon us, what do people need to know and need to do to maintain their garden? I think it's easier at the beginning when you get the fresh plants and flowers and they're looking great because they've been here at America's Best Flowers, but what do you need to do to maintain them?
Yeah, now we're getting into that typically where it gets hot.
Yes.
There's different insect problems that are coming out. So we get a lot of questions, how do I keep everything looking good? Biggest thing, you need to keep things deadheaded a little bit, which can take a little bit of time. Some people like to do it, some don't.
And what does that mean for people who may not know?
Basically,
Grateful Dead fan.
yeah, as the flowers mature, they go through. Some of them, they start to look a little bad. Don't ever be afraid to clip them down. Cut them off
Gotcha.
a little bit. You're not going to hurt the plant any, and it's going to grow back even better than it was to begin with.
Okay.
A lot of times it's always good. One of our best products, one of our biggest sellers is Osmocote. We use it in all of our gardens. We use it in all of our baskets, all of our pots. It's just a slow release fertilizer. Every time you water, even if you're not using fertilizer, you're going to get a little bit of a boost to your plants all the time. Now is really important to be using your liquid Miracle-Gros, any of those products to keep those plants nice and healthy, so that when we get into this warm, should be maybe drier time of the year, it's not this year, but they're going to be at their healthiest and performing the best for you.
And I'm not familiar with this product. I'm actually going to grab it and look at it. So when do you apply this? Do you do it as you plant, or later when you're watering?
You can do either one. We recommend to do it right away as you plant.
Sure.
Every time you water, it slowly releases a little bit of it, and that will last up to 3 to 6 months. Wow. So all of our baskets, all of our containers, we put that in there right away. So if you bought baskets, containers from us, you might want to think about refreshing them with some Osmocote.
Gotcha.
Now's a good time to do that.
Smart.
It's starting to wear out a little bit. So.
That's a good point, because you planted these baskets when?
A lot of them were started in February.
February, March, April, May, so they are running out and maybe due. And you just sprinkle it in there.
Yep, there's going to be a little bit there's a little scoop in here. 10-inch basket like this, 1 scoop into a basket's going to be perfect.
So you can do a lot. So let's talk for folks who do have container gardens. Now we know the tip of using some of this product. How often should we be watering? And also, is there a time of day that makes more sense than another?
Yeah, usually when it gets warm like this, the best time to water anything is going to be in the morning. Couple of reasons for that. Usually a lot of plants don't like to be wet late in the day. Zinnias are one that what can happen if they stay wet overnight, they can tend to get powdery mildew, which is a disease, and then it can hurt your plants. So if you can water them in the morning, that oftentimes is the best. As far as checking them for water, you can stick your finger into the soil, feel if it's wet. Otherwise, you can lift the pot, see if it's heavy. That's how I do it myself. I walk around and I lift every basket.
So what does that mean? If it's heavier, then it doesn't need water?
Then it doesn't need water,
Okay.
Yep. If it's on the lighter side, you're going to want to water it. And the thing to watch for this time of year is we get hotter and we get dry, windy days. There might be times, especially with a basket like this, you need to water it in the morning, and you get home from work, you might have to water it again.
Demanding little
Yeah,
bubbles.
that hot, dry, windy days are the worst. And even sometimes, if it's possible with your baskets, maybe even just set them on the ground for the day if you know it's going to be a hot, dry wind, because like I say, it can really dry them out.
Yeah.
There is some benefit. Our baskets, we try to grow in as big of a basket as we can, so we got as much soil volume as possible. These baskets also have a water reservoir in the bottom, so it's going to hold some water for you.
I did notice that in looking in. I don't know if you can see this, but there's actually quite a bit of space between where the plant starts and the bottom, which must help some of that water.
And when you water these, do you let the water run through?
I generally don't. I like to, if you see it just starting to come out, that's about perfect, because you know it's going to hold a little bit of water, and all the excess will run. You just want just a little bit in there, because you can hurt your plants by overwatering them too. A lot of people this year, with all the rain that we've had, some of their gardens, their vegetables and stuff are really struggling because they're sitting in water. So it's going to be important as we start to dry out. Give them a little bit of a boost of fertilizer. You usually don't have to fertilize your vegetable gardens that often, but if you're seeing them start to turn a little bit yellow, you're going to want to go ahead and put some Miracle-Gro. Even the Osmocote you can put, there is a vegetable specific one you can put on there too. So
you're saying if the plants start to yellow, vegetables or flowers or both?
Both.
If it's starting to yellow, that means you need some fertilizer.
Need some fertilizer, yep. That's an indication something's going on with the plant. It's not getting all the nutrients that it needs. So you're going to want to go ahead and fertilize.
I have a clematis that's turning yellow. Maybe that's what it needs.
It could be, and like I said, this year's been exceptionally wet. It's usually not this rainy this time of year. So it's been extra hard on the plants. So you just got to be a little bit more diligent about it, making sure you're not watering them when they don't need it, and then making sure that they are getting fertilizer to help them perform their best for you.
Okay. And container plants need probably different watering than your vegetable garden, because if they're like on a sidewalk or something, heat can make it hotter, right?
The heat, and then also as you're in a container, as these plants are growing, they're getting more and more root bound.
Oh.
And
less soil.
yeah, so the bigger the plants are, the better they look, but there's less soil. it takes more water per day to keep them going. So you may, like I say, on a hot, windy day, you might have to water them a couple times a day.
Sure.
Generally, this time of year, you're still able to get by with one time a day with your nice big containers.
One thing I wanted to sneak in before we go is that obviously all these products that we've talked about and a lot more are available here.
Yes.
And look at the wealth of knowledge of the staff.
It's amazing.
So thank you for
Yeah,
sharing
and
some of that with us.
We always tell people, don't be afraid to come out, ask us questions. That's what we're here for. We're more than happy to have you come out. We'll answer your questions, we'll walk you over, show you these different products that might help you have more success.
So much knowledge. Spike, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And thanks for having us today. It's been beautiful and gorgeous. And watch us next time. It's only on Girl Talk on Wisconsin's 57.